Hi, good evening. Welcome to Spiritual Alchemy, the podcast with Julie. Tonight I have Pamela Cummins, an expert dream interpreter, with us. Um, Welcome. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you. Yay, I'm excited to be here. It's a little late for me. It's 10 o'clock my time because I'm in Eastern time. So I hope that I'm not too much of a dipsy doodle because it's a little late. But that's okay.
That's all right. So where are you in the country? What state?
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey. You can and I see people saying hello. So hello. And if I don't respond, please. It's hard to read and think sometimes at the same time. But I'm a Jersey girl, but I've been living in North Carolina for 10 years, and I'm on Eastern North Carolina, right in Jacksonville.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so I'm close to the ocean, but a little inland. So
Very, very cool.
yeah.
I haven't made it. Well, I think I drove through there on the way to Tennessee. Oh, could you tell us about what you do? Before the show, you kind of like you do other things too.
Oh, you know what? I'd like to say I have a spiritual toolbox, okay? I've been on the personal and spiritual growth since 1989, and I started with my own stuff, okay? And I was never into religion. Like I come
Hmm.
from both my parents were Jewish, but we celebrated Easter and Passover, so I wasn't brought up religiously, okay? But I started because of my personal growth, and it went
Hmm.
into obviously spirituality. And so I've learned all different kinds of things. I'm a hypnotherapist, I do massage therapy, psychic readings. I have a toolbox, but dream interpretation. I'm also a Libra, so I love relationships, but dream interpretation I've been doing I started with myself back in like the early 90s to heal some personal, issues,
Hmm.
childhood issues. And then I just loved it. It was like putting together a jigsaw puzzle and figuring it out. And dream language is unique. And that's kind of what got me into it. So yeah, I have psychic abilities because my dreams brought out my psychic abilities and my intuition. And quite honestly, I believe we all are intuitive. We're just not in
Hmm.
touch with it. Okay. So, but my main focus is dream interpretation, but also personal and spiritual growth because I know some people want to I have some clients who want to work on their spirituality and their personal growth, but they don't remember their dreams and they don't want to do that. And that's fine. I'll work with them,
Hmm.
you know. But dream interpretation, I love because, as I said, it's fun trying to figure out people's unique dream language.
Interesting. Um, I'm curious about your coaching. What kind of like coaching? Because everybody does a little bit different. So, how do you help people with coaching?
Okay. Um, and there is no, like, I don't have like a cookie cutter template kind of thing. It's really what the person wants. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds because everyone is so unique. And I find for me, I've always worked better in the moment. Like
Hmm.
obviously there's certain things that you need to plan. And sometimes I get messages for people, or I just feel like we need to work on this, but it's intuitive. And I hope I'm making sense. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So it really depends upon where the person's at. Because if somebody wants to go over their dreams, I remember a client, asked me, this was many, many years ago, and I was doing more love and relationships, and the dream interpretation was on the back burner, and I was taking it off. And a client said, "Can you interpret my dreams?" Right? And I knew that she was open to it and she was very intuitive. And I said, actually, what I would prefer to do is to teach you how to do it. I'll interpret it in, but let's see if we can get you to do it. So with that woman, it worked. Okay. With
Hmm.
somebody else, it's not going to work.
Right.
I find I get a lot of artists who want, want me to help them. I don't do my artwork. I'm sorry. You can tell I talk with my hands. All right.
I do too. Don't worry.
I grew up around a lot of Italians, so I talk with my hands. Just don't sit by me. You might get smacked.
I'm a ways from you, so we're good.
Yeah. So it's really kind of hard to say how I do the coaching because it really varies upon everyone.
Do you
sometimes
find yourself doing psychic work more than anything?
Not so much anymore. That still comes into play. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things I do with the dream interpretation, okay, is with dream interpretation, it's like, okay, we understand the wisdom of your dream. Now, what are you going to do with it? Okay. And that's one of the reasons I got burnt out on giving psychic readings, because one, they wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. Okay.
Right.
And the other was I would give them their information and they would call and I'd give them the same information and they didn't do anything about it.
Right.
And that's what I feel like with dreams. Long ago when I did massage therapy, this was many, many moons ago. Like I said, I have a spiritual toolbox. I got really aggravated because nobody would do anything. They still have the same stress. They wouldn't exercise, blah, 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 blah. And that's the same thing with the dream interpretation. It's really important. What are you going to do with this information? You got it. And how is this going to help you in the daytime?
Exactly. I think that's, even doing Reiki on somebody and getting intuitive messages and telling them, hey, this is, validating, this is what I got, how do, and trying to come up with creative solutions for them to follow through with.
Right. And it's very frustrating if you give them the creative solutions and then they go and they drink a bottle of rum and drink Pepsi every day and don't eat vegetables. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. And it gets frustrating. It's like having a friend who only talks about the problem and never wants to do anything about it. Okay, I see that. So ML is saying, yeah, and I know a lot of, I think what happens is when you're younger, and it's every field, every helping field. You want to help these people. And when they don't help themselves, because we give you the tools, you have to heal yourself. Okay. Right. And that's with everything. And when they don't help themselves, it gets very frustrating.
Exactly.
It's not our ideal client or our soul client.
So you obviously do you offer classes on how to interpret your dreams?
Yes. In fact, I have, and it's building up. I lost a couple students, so I'm hoping to get more students for April. But it's called Mystical Dream Analysis, and it's a group that it meets twice a month. Okay. And what we do is I usually do a little teaching before. It could be on solution dreams or how to dream journaling or whatever. 1 week I did using tarot cards or oracle cards to help interpret your dreams. And then the students go over their dreams. And I always have the student, whoever gave the information, I want them to interpret it. And then someone in the class will interpret. And then I go last because what they want me to do is, oh, I don't want to think about it. You do it. And I'm like, no. And it's really, it's really neat to watch them grow and to see it, and then sometimes depending how many people are there, sometimes they'll even give one of my dreams, and have them interpret it, and they'll be like, well, it's your dream, you go first. And I'm like, well, I'm the teacher. I know what it means. I want to see what you get. And what's really cool too, because as you know, teachers are also students, right? And there are times I've given my dreams and they see things that I haven't seen. So
Right.
yeah, and that really teaching people how to do their own interpretations is my love. You know, that's what I.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, that saying, you can feed a man fish for a day. Well, I'm like, I can interpret your dream for a day, or I can teach you how to interpret your dream for life.
Right.
And really, that's my goal. And okay, you might not need me, but that's okay. Somebody else will need me.
Oop, oops. I meant to put something else up, but what does one do if they don't remember their dreams? Is there anything that can be done?
Yes, yes. And just so you know, I do have a free gift package on Learn Dream Interpretation that will help you with that and with the meditation. Okay. But a lot of times with anything else in life, it's intention. You have to intend to remember your dream. Okay.
Mm,
So, and I remember somebody asked me, well, how do you do it? And I said, well, the intention, you can't wake up in the morning and say, I intend to remember my dream. You have to intend before you go to sleep. Okay. So one of the old things is you can actually take pen and paper. I know some people don't know what pen and paper is anymore, right? But write yourself a letter or type yourself a letter, or if you prefer, record, or you could even tape yourself. I will remember my dream. I will remember my dream. And do it, say it over and over again, especially right before you go to bed. Because when I learned hypnotherapy, I'm also, like I said, I'm a spiritual toolbox. One of the things that my teacher taught me is that if you say an affirmation over and over again in your head before you go to sleep, okay, and this is with anything, it goes through your subconscious mind all night long. Okay. So if you want to be courageous, you say, I am courageous. If you want to remember your dream, I will remember your dream. And yes, the affirmation makes the change. So you do that every night. And I like to tell people you do it for 3 months. But quite honestly, usually within a few days, a week, you have a dream. Now, here's the key. Once you have that dream, you need to write it down or record it in some manner so you remember it. You can also, before you go to sleep or a few hours, you can meditate and see yourself from.
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Yeah, I got that. And you can. I lost my train of thought. You can meditate and visualize yourself remembering your dream and getting up and writing it down. So those are a couple things you can do.
Okay. We kind of jumped into a question before I was ready to go there. Did you do training to become a dream interpreter?
Okay. I actually, I walk my talk. Okay. So I learned, because like many people, I thought my dreams were funny, hysterical, but had no idea what they meant. Okay. Until I started having some dreams that I knew were about my childhood. I just intuitively knew it. And I worked with a therapist who specialized in dreams, and we worked together for 2 years. So in a sense, I kind of had hands-on training with her on how to interpret it.
Right.
And then I gone through like psychology or Carl Jung or I'm sorry, I'm trying not to read that. No, I guess you could say I've had informal training, but I've been doing it for years. Besides, I interpret. I I journaled my own dreams for 10 years, 10 years to figure out what they were about. And then it just naturally came into my, with friends, families, and then clients. So yeah, I've read a lot about it. But what I enjoy doing is, I understand. Sigmund Freud to me is he's the grandfather of dreams, but he's a big pervert. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Okay, he's a big pervert. Carl Jung is interesting, and there's many different ways that you can do it, but I like dream categories. That's what I found worked for me and works for my clients. So no, I have not had the college education, but I've had life experience education and self-study and working with people.
It's very true. Um, Even as, a Reiki, practitioner, you learn as you go.
Hmm.
You
I
know?
had one of my hypnotherapist teacher, where I got certified. He was a lawyer before he began the school. It seems kind of weird that a lawyer and they were approved by the Board of Education of New Jersey. But when he got his law degree, his teacher said, "Okay, now you went and you got schooling to be a lawyer. Now go out there and learn how to practice law and be a lawyer."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and Anna, I guess it's Amy Anna together,
Yes.
but she said live experience is the
Best.
best, and it
Yeah.
really is,
Yeah.
because you can learn all you want in school, but it's not until you put it into practice. And that's what my teacher meant by, okay, all the thing about law, but until you go out there and practice it and have real cases, you're not going to understand it.
Right. I got another. Forms of psychology and philosophy matter. Your life experience brings this forward.
Right. And that's why it's important to continue to learn, and
Yeah.
study.
Yeah. Always be the student,
Exactly.
even if you're the teacher. Okay, we're going to start with some questions. So I came up with my own because these are kind of weird. So for a while, for a couple weeks now, and I've had when you're going to sleep and you're kind of like almost asleep, but you're still awake,
Mm-hmm.
and there's dreaming going on, but it's veiled, so I can't really see. So recently, what's been going on, it's like cartoons behind this veil. I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
There's no content I can see except this veiled cartoons.
Huh. Okay. So how do you feel when this is happening?
I'm frustrated because I can't see what's going on.
Okay. All right. So but you're not asleep, so you're not really dreaming?
No, I'm almost, I'm on my way to sleep. That state where you feel like you're falling, but you're not. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that.
It's kind of like how you feel like when you're in hypnosis. You're not asleep, you're, or like really, really deep meditation. Honestly, what I want to say, because to me, that's kind of dreaming, but it's not. I almost want to say that you need to say to your guides, like I will remember my dreams. Okay, you need to say, could you please clear the channel?
Okay, all right.
Tune it in.
Yeah,
that's what I'm feeling. Like tune it in so you can see what's going on. Okay,
right.
because obviously there's some kind of message there. Okay, and I'm hearing clairvoyance. Are you clairvoyant?
I do have some clairvoyancy.
Okay,
yes.
because I almost feel like that's kind of what it's about. Like you need to clear things so you can see the image. Like tune it in.
Yeah, I have a lot to uncover.
You have a lot to, I'm sorry?
I have a lot to uncover in my life.
Okay, I'm not sure what you mean to work on.
Yeah, to work on that.
Okay.
Things I'm not seeing that I want to see. It's coming out this way.
So it's a theme. So that's why, okay, because I'm like, that didn't sound like a dream to me. Okay. Because a dream is when you are asleep, but that feels more like a vision. But that makes a lot of sense. So cool. So, it's like when I'm very clairsentience, which means I can feel, okay, and I can really feel people's feelings. So when I'm driving down the road, okay, and someone's angry, okay, I can feel that. And if there's a lot of traffic going on, now obviously I can't be a sponge for everyone's feelings. And sometimes I've just said, turn it down, turn it off. I'm going to get into an accident. Where you need to clear it. You know.
Oh boy. we need some like mechanical help here.
Yeah, but that's the same. You know, it's like, do you remember, and I'm dating myself, but you remember the antennas on the TV and the tinfoil, and you go
The
like
rabbit ears. Yes.
The rabbit ears. That's what you kind of need to do with these cartoons.
Okay. That it's just like, I'm comfortable with that, but it's really weird.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that's, you know what? But that's
dreams.
You know, but that goes with a lot of things, even like understanding your dreams. Okay.
Yeah.
Your dream meanings. It takes time for that to happen. People want it like that, and it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. This girl knows what I'm talking about. That hypogoic state visions and everything in this state. So I that's beyond me.
Yeah, you know, but it can be called. Some people call it meditation. Some people call it hypnosis.
Right.
It's that in between state, but that's a really good state to be, because you're more open to positive things and to see visions. And that's when people give psychic readings. That's what they at, you know.
Right.
Good information comes in.
Right. Okay. Well, I am just going to have to do affirmations here. Okay.
Or just ask and you shall receive.
Okay. I had this. Well, I knew a couple of my past lives, right? And one of them, I was a black slave. I was beheaded. And as I was being beheaded, my ex-boyfriend from this lifetime was in that lifetime with me. He walked through the door and saw this happen to me. I don't recall ever telling him about this, but I had talked to him. This happened last year. I had talked to him. Then the next day, he calls me up and he's telling me he had this dream. And he was telling this black woman to go away. I go, could you like describe this where you were? He's like, yeah, there's a lot of bridges. And I go, it was a big plantation, huh? There was houses and stuff. He's like, yeah. So he had actually dreamed about this past life we had together.
Oh yeah. You can definitely have past life like dreams. You know, that's one way that you can experience a past life. So yeah, that's kind of neat. And probably because it came about because you two were together. If he didn't know you, there would, because when we remember past lives, it's for a reason, to teach us something. Okay. So if he didn't know you, he probably wouldn't have been able to remember that. But because he was with you, it came up because it was for him to realize certain things that he needs to work on. Maybe like he felt like he always had to rescue you or save you or wasn't good enough because he wasn't able to prevent that. Okay. And I can see the light bulb going off. So that's why he had that dream. Okay.
That's really interesting. Thanks. That gave me some perspective.
I saw it in your eyes. I definitely saw it in your eyes.
It's a theme that goes back to another lifetime we shared together.
Before this one?
Before we were slaves, there was other lifetimes, and this is the same.
Right.
Click, click, click.
Yeah. Well, that's not surprising because, you know, well, who was it? I think it was Raymond Moody. I went to this many years ago. I went to this past life regression therapy, and he was funny because he was making fun of some religions who think, you die and then you go to heaven. That's all it is. And he says, no, there's, that's like a one-shot theory. We have more shots to, higher source, God, whatever you want to call it, is very loving. And, just like we make the same mistakes over and over again in this lifetime, we do it, many times. We're not going to get it all right in one lifetime.
Well, darn it. I got to have a talk with that guy. I'm trying. So, okay. Here's a question from one of my friends. How can I tell a prophetic dream from a regular dream?
That's a good question. Okay. That's a good question. First of all, it usually feels different. Okay. There's a feeling like this is going to, have you ever had deja vu? Like you knew something was going to happen? A lot of times you get the same feeling in the dream. Okay. Unless sometimes it happens almost exactly the way you dream about it. Right. Okay. And other times there's a lot of different symbols, but it's going to happen, but you don't get it. Okay. So quite honestly, so you have that feeling, it's different than other dreams. I can't explain it. It's kind of like intuition. You just know, you don't understand why, and it's different than ego. Okay. But what really helps with those is time. Okay. Because once you have the dream, and that's why I suggest recording it in some manner. I don't care if you just put a couple lines. Okay. So you have some kind of like evidence. All right. And you remember it. And then you have to allow time to happen and wait for the event to unfold. Okay. So the event unfolds and you're like, aha, I knew it. Or sometimes, because this has happened to me and my clients, is an event unfolds and it's like, yeah, that's right. And then maybe 6 months later or whatever, another event unfolds and you're like, wow. And it becomes even deeper. We get a better perspective. And it's important to do that because the next time I call them precognate dreams. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The next time you have a precognate dream, it's easier to recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's why like dream interpretation is a lifetime journey. You're not going to, you can't say, I do my dreams for a year and I'm all done. It doesn't happen that way. Okay.
It's ongoing.
It's a lifetime journey. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, for your friend, I'm going to say, keep doing it. You'll have a feeling. And it's the same thing when it comes to people who want to trust their intuition. It's like you write it down. You like, I got this feeling. You write it down. Okay. And if it happens, okay, like somebody's going to call, okay, or it's going to rain. And if it doesn't happen, then you say, okay, well, maybe it was my ego instead. But if it happens, then that feeling. Maybe you feel it in your stomach. Maybe it's just a knowing. Maybe you get a flash. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's really good to record it in some manner, whether it's your intuition or your dreams. Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I believe so.
That was a great question.
I've had those dreams, so I can kind of gauge. I haven't had a prophetic one in a while, but the difference. Okay, here's another question. Someone gave this to me. I realize dream dictionaries are more like horoscopes than solid meanings. What ways are more meaningful to interpret dreams?
Okay, and I'm sorry, you might hear my little girl. She's meowing. She wants. This is when we snuggle. Okay. All right. I'm glad they brought up dream dictionaries because dream dictionaries are as good as the person who wrote it in their own experience. And it's true for them. It's kind of like. So I remember somebody once, and here I learned from somebody. They compared it to horoscopes. Okay. So it depends upon somebody's experience with, doing astrology and all that and what they think it is. And that's why your horoscope's never correct. All right. So dream dictionaries are good if you're really stuck on what a symbol could be, but don't take them don't say this is absolutely it. What does a symbol mean to you? Okay. Like for instance, since my cat's here, okay. Now if I dream about like a black cat because Rhiannon's black, okay, I'm gonna feel, most likely I'm gonna feel love, okay, and it's gonna be a good dream. Somebody who's superstitious over cats, okay, is going to be scared, okay. Someone who recently lost their cat might be upset, all right, or somebody might have a friend who's been acting really catty, okay. So a symbol can mean so many different things, and what's it to you, and if somebody hates cats, right, they're not going to like it. So what does a symbol mean to you? Does it remind you of your childhood? Does it remind you of a problem today? How did you feel? Because as I mentioned, a feeling can definitely change that. How does this relate to your life today? Is there a problem you have? Are you having issues in a relationship? Do you know what I mean? It's not just the symbol. The symbol is kind of one thing. Symbols are important, but it's just one thing, shoes. I just did a pin about shoes. Okay. Now, high heels, to somebody who wears high heels, they might love them, right? It makes them feel sexy. If it's a stripper, it's going to be, part of their outfit, right? For someone like me, who I don't like high heels, they hurt my feet. For a man, if a man dreamt he was walking around in high heels, it might freak him out, it might make him really upset. Okay? Do you see how it can be situation? Or maybe it might remind somebody of when they used to dress up in their mom's clothes. Okay? For a man who enjoys dressing up, he's in women's clothes, it's going to mean something totally different. So how do you feel? I'm going to just reemphasize this. How you feel is so important with the symbol. Okay. What's going on? Other symbols, other people, the actions. And then you have to think about your past, okay. It could be your future. It could be what's going on, issues. I mean, your dreams really need to be examined.
You got to dig a little deeper underneath that symbolism, right?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can't hear you. You're froze up. Can the viewers hear her? We were doing so well.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, we're back.
Sorry about that. But I think my computer froze and it missed, I don't know what happened.
We're good now.
Okay.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you got to dig a little deeper underneath that symbol and how it relates to you and your circumstances.
And I just want, like, astrology, okay? Astrology is much more than what your sign is. It's your sun's, it's your rising, your houses, the time of day you were born, the year. It's like so involved, okay? So yeah, it's not, you can't just go and look it up. I'm a Libra, okay? But somebody who's born who's like further down a Libra is going to have a totally different zodiac,
Right, exactly. Okay, so there's that. Okay, these are questions I got earlier today. Okay. I have been going by waking life events to determine my own symbols. For example, I have a lot of guilt surrounding the death of my pony. When I dream of her, the next day is filled with bad luck, plan cancellations, etc.
Can you repeat that? I'm not sure if I got that.
So it's basically, we were just talking about symbols.
Okay.
And she has a lot of guilt surrounding the death of her pony.
Her pony.
And when she dreams about her pony, The next day is filled with bad luck and
With
things
bad
going wrong.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. And she doesn't give a particular, she's just saying in general when she dreams
Okay.
about it.
Are there other ways to determine personal dream symbols?
To interpret it
You're,
personally?
like we were just talking about symbolism and what it
Okay.
means to you. Are there other ways to determine personal symbols?
Okay. Well, with her, obviously she has a lot of guilt over the death of her pony. Maybe she feels like, and we all do that, we didn't do enough, and if only I did this, and I should have done this, and all that. And honestly, it was the pony's time. So she's having these dreams, and if she's feeling bad the next day, okay, because I don't know what the dreams are about, okay. For all I know, her pony could be like, come on, knock it off. I love you. Thank you for the time I was, but it's time to move on. Okay. Basically, she needs to process the feelings, and that's why she's having a bad day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because if a little girl who wanted a pony, okay, had this dream, she'd wake up thrilled. Hey, Daddy, I had dreamed it. You got to give me a pony. But I'm just saying, that using a different symbol.
Context.
So, yes, because I don't know how she felt in the dream or exactly what happened in the dream. It's hard for me to interpret it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, but I'm going to suggest to her, because I just lost my cat, okay, and in February, so I understand how she feels, and I went through. Well, maybe I did this. Maybe if I got better food. Maybe if I did this, and he died on my father's birthday, so I know Merlin was supposed to die then, okay,
Right.
so that I know, but and of course I've had dreams, but basically I'm going to suggest to her to write about how she felt, to write letters or to speak to her pony, and she's got to, grieve and go through the feelings, and then she'll get to the other side, because for all I know, she might be the pony might actually be visiting her from the other side, because
Right.
they do, our deceased loved ones come back. I mean, and I can tell you more about that, but she doesn't want to miss those opportunities of the pony visiting her because she hasn't,
Right.
let go of the grief. I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm having trouble getting the words out, but you understand what I mean.
I do. Well, thank you for that. Okay, so this is going to get intense. Can you explain the difference between lucid and clear dreaming? And then I got another question.
Okay, and I'm not sure. See, I'm not sure what they mean by clear dreaming. Because, and I'm not. Well, I'll explain what lucid dreaming is, okay? And I'm not an expert at lucid dreaming, and I have to be quite honest. I don't like to lucid dream. That's just me. I know obviously a lot of people like it, but basically when you're lucid dreaming, you know that you're dreaming. You're in the dream, you know that you're dreaming, and you know that if you want to, like, let's say there's a monster getting ready to chasing you, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. Okay, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to snap my fingers and this monster is going to shrink. Or I'm going to make him loving and I'm going to ride the monster, whatever. Okay. And so lucid dreaming is really good for nightmares and stuff. So basically, it's people who are trying to control what's going on in the dream. Okay. And I'm not really sure what she means by clear dreaming. Does that mean just allowing the dreams to happen?
I would say so.
Yeah. So basically, and that's what I prefer. Okay. And that's what I suggest people, because and again, this is my opinion, because I realize lucid dreaming helps people with nightmares, and, they think it's really cool. And it's just like people who want to do, like, scientific experiments with psychics and stuff like that. There and that whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. Okay. Clear dreaming basically is just allowing you could call it your angels, if it's a spiritual dream, or yourself, just allowing the dream to happen so you can get the information. And to me, it's from a higher source, whether it's your higher self or angels or whatever, God, ancestors. The information just comes. Where lucid dreaming, you're basically trying to direct the information you're getting. Okay, and now I'm sure somebody who is an expert at lucid dreaming would say, Pamela, that's not what it is.
That's your interpretation of
and
it.
I want to make that clear. Okay,
right.
and see, because and again, if people like lucid dreaming, go for it if it works for you.
Right. Okay. So this would be being present or versus being active and being present and active in a dream versus being not present in the dream. Does that make sense?
So, all right. So they're saying you're in the dream, you're present, and you're active, where you're dreaming, but you're not in the dream.
Well, there's two different states. Okay. Let me back up here. So, does it make a difference in your obviously interpretation? It will. If you're actively in the dream, or if you are just a viewer and not active in it.
Okay. So you're just kind of watching the dream.
Versus when you go to interpret a dream, do you take that into account?
Oh, definitely, because it's going to change the, because you can have a dream about your past, okay, or how your boyfriend did about the past life.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in there. Now, if he was in there, he would actually be reliving the past life. So it would be a little different meaning. Okay. So, for instance, what's coming to mind is a dream I had the other day where I was actually a man. Like, it was kind of like me, but I was watching me, and I was a man, and I had all these clothes on. Okay. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, and I was hot, and I just wanted to take the clothes off. Okay. But I was a man, and I was asking someone for help. Right. And so it was kind of weird, but I was viewing it. Okay. So instead of me being in there. Okay. So yeah, it had a little different meaning. And the other thing is, sometimes it's easier to watch someone else, let's say, this is what's coming to mind. Let's say you have a dream about a young kid doing drugs. Okay. It's easier to watch that to actually see your children doing drugs. So you're using somebody else to, break through the denial, and it's not so painful.
Makes
and
sense.
just in case anyone's wondering, I did wake up and I was hot. Okay. I was hot, and I felt kind of, because I had Chris, I had my honey he was on one side, and then I had my little girl on the other side, and it was kind of hot. But for whatever reason, I had to see it as a man,
Oh boy. That's
yeah, it was kind of
weird. Okay, let's go back to the questions. We got about 15 minutes left here. So I did have some questions. I went back too far. Okay, this one's interesting. I have shared past life dreams with people I know. My aunt and best friend and I shared a past life working in an orphanage that the Nazis invaded.
That's interesting. And why can't I think of it? It's basically like mutual dreams. You're all dreaming like the same dream. Okay. So, and that doesn't happen all the time. So that's really neat. Okay. And what I'm going to say is like I think she said it was with 2 other people to
Yeah.
talk about it. Okay. To talk about it and maybe work through some of the emotions. Because obviously, like the Nazi times was some really big stuff, and how it affects you maybe today, and things you need to, in an orphanage, okay, aunt, best friend, okay, I thought it was 3, okay, and how it can help you, and maybe see how it affects your lives today. Maybe you need to, you're here to help others, or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think she is a nurse.
Okay,
So yeah,
so that's probably why she wants to help, but also to see the connection between you two. And
she has another question.
well, okay. And it's really hard to say exactly what it means. Some random and irrelevant person pops up in your dreams all the time. Okay. They're not irrelevant. They could be symbolic. Like I said, like with that weird dream I had with the guy. Okay, maybe that was my masculine side saying, hey, you got to take care of this physical need. Okay. So with it's, I don't know what they're doing popping up, but they're symbolic for something. Okay.
They could be spirit guide
Of course.
or angel.
Right. Or someone from a past life, or maybe even someone from your future.
Okay. Let's get to,
you have a question for me.
let's see. I think they just asked the same question. Okay, let's try this one. So, ever feel like you've met someone that you've never met before? You are conscious in the dream, and then after a few amazing positive moments, they fade and you wake, as if you have directly communicated with another human, live human.
Yeah, I would say yes. And whether that is a spirit guide or actually someone from, across the world
Mm.
that you knew before or you're going to meet, but definitely that does happen. You were going to ask me a question, Julie?
I don't. I'm looking for questions that were posted. I'm like, we'll get to them. What about waking dreams where it feels like? Okay, we got that one. I thought there was another part to this. I thought there was another question here. I guess not. Okay. Does anybody have any questions that we haven't answered? Could you please ask them again?
I think somebody's really impatient.
Well,
no, I'm just feeling somebody's energy that feels impatient. So I don't know.
Do I have another question? I when I was remembering my dreams and not veiled, I really got into dream interpretation myself. And I did use the dictionaries a little bit to help guide me, but mostly went by my own feelings.
Right.
And try to interpret, my waking life and my past. So.
No, and I'm not saying don't ever, especially if you get something really unusual, like what could that possibly mean? Okay. But what I do say is see if you can, figure out like buffalo, you might say, why am I dreaming about a buffalo? Okay. and you might, and maybe it's the song, give me a home where the buffalo, maybe you need to roam, but if you get really stuck on something, I think that it's fine to look it up. I just don't want people to get dependent. False memories in her work. No, that I have not encountered.
Do dreams, I mean, if we're talking about past life dreams, they're pretty real. They're basically memories coming through in our dream, right?
I'm going to say yes. Can they be scientifically proven? Not always, but there actually, like people like to thank you. People like to study things, and there have been cases where somebody has had a past life, whether it was in a dream or memories that they were scientifically able to prove against records. But no, I think what's important is, how does it help you? And that's what dreams are. How does it help you? Okay. Like the one question about the false memory. Okay. Let's say you're having a memory about your childhood. Okay. And, is it true? Is it not true? Well, you can't necessarily always find out the truth. Okay. Unless it's like repeated and there's a lot of emotion behind it. But what does it mean to you? Okay. How does it affect your life? How's it going to help your life? Okay. Like with your boyfriend, I know I keep on bringing this up.
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend. I'm sorry, your ex.
He hasn't rescued me or helped me.
Yeah, but with the past life dream, right? Maybe that was being urged to help you in this life. Okay. Or maybe it was being him to like realize that he can't save you. Okay. And to let you be yourself. But obviously he's your ex. So either you've cleared the karma, okay, or then you have more karma to work on. Okay.
You have no idea.
Yeah, but like with the mutual dreams, like there's 3 ladies who were working, in the orphanage, and this is a gut feeling I have. I feel like they've taken that memory and they've used it to help in this lifetime for themselves and for others. Okay.
I got a question. Would you say trauma nightmares can be more flashback than dream, as in more true than just a dream?
Okay. And I'm not going to say every single one, but okay, trauma nightmares it depends. All right. Like if it feels like a flashback to something that happened and it's repressed, okay, and it has a lot of feelings and it's like the same situation over and over and over again, that could be a PTSD dream, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder dream, okay? And especially if you see it like from a younger point of view, okay? And again, the actions are basically the same. Yeah. A nightmare, okay, something that feels traumatic, is usually something that hasn't happened yet. Okay. And feels scary and doesn't necessarily make sense. I hope I explained that good enough. Okay.
Thank you. Viewers saying thank you for coming on. This was a fabulous show.
I'm glad it helped.
Does anyone else have a question? We got a few more minutes left. If you want to throw out another question. I know Amy Anna has a lot of dreams. I feel like you guys should connect. I call her the dream girl. She has dozens of dream journals.
Good.
I'm encouraging I'm encouraging her to write a book and trying to help her. And you've also written a couple books yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we talk about this?
Well, you know, my earlier books were on love and relationships, but I have learned the secret language of dreams, which is a lot on category dreams, and there's a lot of dream examples in there. Um, and some of them are from clients. I used to write for In the Dream Time for Bellesprit Magazine, and so there's a lot of readers' dreams in there that I interpreted. Like I go through, like, let's say, solution dreams, and then I would use dream examples so you could understand the category of solution dreams or spiritual dreams, and of course my own. So, and relationship dreams, which are really neat. We didn't even talk about that. And then I have a free ebook, Got Dreams, Discover Your Idea, dream journal. Okay, because it's important to write that down.
Is that on PamelaCummins.com or?
Yeah, it's on both. It's on
Okay,
both. You can
okay.
find them both. You can find them, at all bookstores, not just Amazon, all bookstores.
Oh, wow.
Except the Got Dreams, Discover Your Idea Dream Journal, because I can't put it there for free.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I don't want people to pay for free book,
Right, content, yeah.
So it's everywhere else.
You also have an oracle deck. Can you
Mm.
talk about that?
Oh, okay. It's my mind went blank for a minute.
It's on this side.
Analyze your dreams oracle deck. Okay. And that is basically, that again has a lot of dream categories, but it also has some symbolism, but it also has like anger, what are your feelings, emotions and dreams and stuff. And basically you can use it a couple ways, as flashcards, or to use it to, where you need to go on your next, in your dream journal, dream interpretation journey, like what do I need to do next? It might be review dreams or whatever, but it's also, you can use it to interpret your dreams too. And I also say, if you want to use other cards with it, you can do too, because sometimes it's neat to use it. Yeah, why not use another deck with it too?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, I do that with other, oracle cards and decks, but you can also use that too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's very creative. Well, I don't know what else we could. I'm sure you want to talk about relationship dreams for a couple minutes.
Sure.
We didn't hit on it.
Okay. No, relationship dreams are important because, I'm a Libra, so I'm all about relationships. But relationship dreams can actually show you who you're going to meet in the future, like soulmate dreams. Okay. They can also give you, like this one guy gave me a warning dream. They can tell you what's going on in the relationships, things that you have to work through. This dream, I always talk about this dream because it's so simple and it's really easy to understand. I had this client who had this dream of a man that she was dating. They were in the kitchen with her mom, and she had in the dream, on her ring finger, she had this burnt mark around her finger where a wedding ring would go. Okay. And she didn't know what the dream meant. And I said, honestly, what I'm getting is, I think you want a future with this guy, but I don't think it's going to happen because you're going to be burned, in the relationship. That's what it was talking about. You want, like, being in the kitchen with her mom is like, yeah, I want, the home, the love, and the kitchen is the hearth of the home and stuff. But I'm like, I don't feel like it's going to work out. And she's like, oh no, you're wrong. He's my soulmate. I'm like, okay, but this is what I'm getting, 6 months to a year later, you were right. It didn't work out.
Wow.
Okay, so it kind of warned her. There's also cheating dreams, okay? And I want to tell people that if you have a dream that your mate cheated on you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it happened. Yes, it could be a warning, okay? But it could also be like you're feeling cheated, that you're not getting enough attention. Okay. It could also mean that you're thinking about cheating on them. But no matter what, you need to work on the relationship. Another thing is they could be representing somewhat, like you might be feeling cheated at work. Okay. Or something.
Mm.
So that's just real quick.
Yeah, that's just a little tidbit.
Yeah.
There's probably, you could go down 10,000 rabbit holes there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's just an idea. Pay attention to them though.
Amy Anna wants to say, thank you, Pamela. I would love to connect with you.
That sounds great.
And I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It was just simply wonderful.
Oh, it was great being here. And thank you, because it was nice. The questions you came up with were really interesting and got me thinking. You know, they weren't the usual questions. So I appreciate that. So thank you for having me on, Julie.
Oh, fantastic. Thank all the viewers. I want to thank all the viewers for your questions that you brought to the platform tonight. Please like and subscribe to Spiritual Alchemy Energy, the podcast with Julie on YouTube. Follow me and Pamela on Facebook. Please go visit her website. She's got a couple, PamelaCummins.com or LearnDreamInterpretation.com. And thank you again for viewing and listening if you're listening to the audio podcast. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.